Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on MITV. I'm Victor Daniels. In the news, our former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has declared that no 2027 presidential aspirant will step down in the African Democratic Congress presidential race, adding that all aspirants will present themselves freely. Atiku, in a statement released on Tuesday by his media advisor Paul Ibe, called on Nigerians to resist efforts by the All Progressive Congress to intimidate and weaken the opposition. The former vice president's comment came amid speculations that he is facing pressure to step aside for a Southern candidate to emerge as the ADC's flag bearer in the upcoming election against President Bola Tinubu. Atiku added that if anyone should step down, it is President Bola Tinubu, whose leadership he described as a growing national liability. The statement read in part, "For nearly 3 years, Nigerians have endured one of the harshest periods in recent history, an era defined by punishing economic policies and shrinking democratic space under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu." He added that the APC-led administration has not only inflicted widespread hardship, but has pursued a calculated effort to eliminate political alternatives towards what he called de facto one-party state. He added that the ADC is committed to ending the purported misfortunes brought about by the Tinubu-led APC, stressing that no form of intimidation, manipulation or sabotage will derail this mission. He stated that Tinubu administration's most disturbing achievement has been the systematic weakening of opposition parties, leaving the All Progressive Congress, despite its manifest failures, standing alone by default and not by merit. The Lagos state government says it remains committed to creating an environment that supports innovation, creativity and growth, while encouraging creatives to set goals, improve themselves continuously and learn from experience. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed this while speaking during an engagement at the Lens for Good 2026 Storytellers Conference, themed Stories That Move Us. The governor said Lagos and Nigeria are home to many talented individuals waiting to be discovered. Governor Sanwo-Olu noted that resilience and determination remain critical to sustaining a creative momentum in the state, warning that complacency could slow progress if not checked. He emphasized the importance of trust and partnership between government and the creative community, explaining that consistency in policies and engagement is necessary to build confidence and long-term collaboration. Delivering the keynote address, the Oluwari, His Majesty Okeame Tuwatse III, underscored the enduring power of stories in shaping identity, values, and collective memory. He describes this storytelling as a sacred responsibility for creators, noting that culture and heritage are preserved and transmitted through intentional narratives. And in another development, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has described the ongoing All Progressive Congress APC digital membership registration exercise as a key civic responsibility for party members and a major step towards strengthening internal party structure. Speaking after formally registering at his ward, the St. Stephen Primary School at Deniji, Delhi on Lagos Island, Governor Sanwo-Olu explained that the e-registration exercise commenced statewide and nationwide, covering all wards across the Lagos State and the Federation. The governor said the Lagos State has 245 wards, each fully equipped with tablets, printers, internet connectivity, and standby generators in areas without electricity to ensure a seamless registration process. He said the exercise requires party members to register digitally using the National Identification Number (NIN) to ensure a proper verification and reliable back-end data. And upon successful registration, members are issued a printed temporary membership slip confirming their status as bona fide party members. Governor Sanwo-Olu noted that although there were initial technical challenges on the first day, the process has since stabilized and is now running smoothly, with many parties faithfully already registered.
The exercise as a party man is for us to encourage all of our members in the country, but more importantly in Lagos State, and for them to go out there and register. I think the exercise is for the whole of the month of January. Let everybody come out and register as a party member, and I think that's the minimum you can do, to ensure that you are a real card-carrying member of our party, the APC, and I'm excited that the exercise is going, smooth here at my own ward in Lagos Island. You can see that they've started. This is, if you are truly, really want to identify with us, at the minimum, this is what you should do. And this is an opportunity for all existing and new APC members, especially the younger people, to come out and exercise this right. Nobody's asking you for anything. Just come here and register and collect the slip, and be a member of the party, and it's time for us to show sincerity and show commitment, of the party, and it's important. As I've seen it, it's very important, and it's digital.
And in the meantime, the chairman of the All Progressive Congress of APC in Lagos State, Kanyelu Sojalabi, has called on party members and supporters to intensify registration efforts as part of moves to strengthening internal democracy and grassroots participation within the party. Ojalabi, who made the call while speaking with a journalist in Lagos, stated that a continuous membership registration is vital to deepening democracy and ensuring that the voices of the party members are well represented at all levels. He reaffirmed the party's dedication to true democracy, internal fairness and inclusiveness, noting that the APC remains committed to providing equal opportunities for members to participate in decision-making processes. He urged the members to remain united and focused on the party's vision of good governance, emphasizing that the unity and active participation are key to sustaining the APC's leadership role in Lagos State.
Deepening our democracy, making sure that we really galvanize our people. As we are moving into the general election 2027, you can see how serious we are. You are at the party secretariat last week when we assembled the major stakeholders to discuss and strategize. As I'm speaking with you now, Central Senatorial District, they are meeting, strategizing how to deepen, how to bring in more members into our party. And I'm sure in a couple of days, the two other senatorial districts will follow a similar. We are more than serious. We are into business. In 2027, we are prepared and we are not relenting.
And staying with politics, supporters of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Ekiti State have staged a peaceful protest at the Independent National Electoral Commission office in Ado-Ekiti following the removal of the party's governorship candidate, Dr. Wole Oluyede, from the INEC portal. The protesters expressed anger over the development and insisted that Dr. Oluyede remains the valid candidate of the People's Democratic Party for June governorship election. Addressing the crowd, the Ekiti State chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Wola Daramola, alongside the PDP stakeholder, Deji Ogunsakin, called on the INEC to give a clear and public explanation for the action. Responding on behalf of the electoral body, the head of the INEC legal department in Ekiti State, Tunde Salako, said that only the Commission's headquarters in Abuja has the authority to explain the removal of the candidate.
That PDP actually went through their exercise in a very, very due process way. And they actually conducted the primary in line with the Electoral Act process, and a candidate emerged. But unfortunately, between the end of the primary election in Ekiti State and uploading, something must have gone wrong. But as the IPAC chairman of Ekiti State, we want to establish one thing today. In Nigeria, the narrative will change. There must be free and fair and credible election. All other political parties are aware of this. We are not going into the race with anybody being excluded illegally. Either should come out and tell the whole world what is wrong with the candidature of Oluyede in PDP. Otherwise, we will just leave the election for APC or whoever they want to run the election. But I tell you today, the commission should come out and tell us expressly why Oluyede's name was not published.
We have the support of IPAC chairman and all the IPAC executives with us. They are strongly behind us. They are strongly behind our candidates. Yes. We don't want crisis. We don't want issues. Yes. If it is peaceful, we want to maintain that peace. Yes. Yes. But what we will not allow is for APC to turn Ekiti State to one-party state. Yes. We will allow APC. The nonsense they are doing by disqualifying other aspirants in their party, we will not allow them to do it in the general election. The APC should not be afraid of contest. Yes. The BAO should not be afraid of election. Yes. If they are done well, they should come out and participate. Yes. We have every information to know that they are behind this process.
Political party to forward the name of elected candidate of the primary, which we monitored. When you send that to the commission, it's a form of portal. When you send it, the commission will assess it. It can't reject it. Even under the law, the commission doesn't have the power to disqualify any candidate. Equivalent on the political party to follow the time frame by submitting the name of the candidate they want to, to feel that their candidate, forthcoming election to the commission within the time frame. I believe, I don't know, like you rightly said, the headquarter will be able to explain more better. Maybe the political party in question did not submit. That will be more better explained. Yes. But there, within time, the window is still opened. We have several cases.
The Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC says it is intensifying the usage of its mobile app and the National Crash Reporting Information, a system to improve the road safety and address road traffic crashes. A Lagos Sector Commander of the FRS, Kehinde Hamzat, stated this in Lagos while speaking in an exclusive interview with MITV News. Our correspondent Fatoki Kunle compiles this report. Lagos is a city that is overcrowded with both human and vehicular activities on daily basis. Based on findings, poor road condition, accident, inadequate road infrastructure, absence of integrated transport system, inadequate traffic planning, and drivers' behavior had significant contribution of about 70.7% on the traffic congestion in the mega city. However, the State Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, it will no longer be business as usual, as it is now more committed to rely on modern technology of using mobile app in line with global best practices, which members of the public can also key into with real-time notice of any incident on the road.
We still have other areas where you can check the validity of your driver's license, your vehicle papers. You can, if you go for driving test, the certificate issued to you, you can check the reliability of that driving school certificate on that same application. On that same application, you can see the number of the vendors and their contacts on that same application, so that you don't need to ask anybody. On your own, you can make contact to them. You can set a reminder on that same application. You can listen to the National Traffic Radio on that application. It's a full-loaded application that I will implore members of the public to download and take full advantage of that application. Reporting activities, apart from our number 122, you can report it on that application too.
With the high rate of road crashes in Lagos, how can the unfortunate incidences be curtailed? And to what extent are road accidents worrisome?
Person that drink alcohol and start driving, did he supposed to drive when you're drunk? You're supposed not to. The whole issue in Nigeria is outrageous. It's something that you can't say, you can't write home about. Everybody is doing what he likes. The person that what do they call it? The law enforcement agency, they are doing their own. Their own is there. If you arrest somebody on influence of alcohol while driving, you're supposed to punish him. Either to send him to prison, you just give him a punishment that he will not do it again.
People, there is more places of, enjoyment. People want to enjoy every day, That also contributes. They do it, or even before they start driving in the morning. You see them, Chelsea, they will tear it, start drinking before they drive. That is too bad.
Everybody wants to be at the same spot at the same time. Over-rushing is just too much and it's killing a lot of people. Hurry. Then another point is those that drink and drive. Some will be coming from the club as early as 5 a.m. They're already high. The commercial drivers too are already high. Some drivers will just park on the roadside without even putting a caution.
The FRSC is saying loud and clear that not only should safety on the roads be left alone to government agencies, but a collective one that requires the proactiveness and active involvement of the members of the public. And now to the security matters. Residents of Akinlalu community in Osun State have appealed to the Nigerian police force to fast-track the deployment of officers to the town's police station, which is nearing completion. The police station was donated by the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate in Osun State, Muniridun Bola Oyebamiji, following the killing of 4 residents of the community in September last year. And MITV correspondent Chami Omoni completes the story.
The killing of 4 indigents, including 3 members of the same family in Akinlalu community, Ife North local government area of Osun State, allegedly by operatives of the Amatekun Corps, remain a painful memory for residents. Community members believe the incident could have been averted if a police station had existed in the area. This prompted calls for the establishment of a police post to prevent a recurrence.
Here to inspect the ongoing police post project promised by Asiwaju Muniridun Bola Oyebamiji about 2 months ago, maybe 13th day of October 2025, when we were here to sympathize with the people of Akinlalu about the ugly incident that happened that claims many lives in this town. And that day when Asiwaju Muniridun Bola Oyebamiji, the governorship candidate of APC, came, he made a promise. Promise made, promise kept.
During an inspection visit by members of the Amber team, residents expressed appreciation for the gesture, describing it as timely.
Well, we thank God for our incoming governor, Oyebanji, because he has done what we are not expected for us in Akinladu. The only time he come to visit us here, he promised us a police station, and he started immediately. And thank God, this building is already completed to roof level now, of which we believe that in 2 weeks' time, the roofing of the house will be there.
In some month ago, we have chaos, we have problem, we have insecurity. Many lives were lost, but we thank God that since the police station had been erected here, we thank God the community is now in peace.
While expressing hope that the project will be completed within a few months, Asiwaju Bola Oyebamiji said the intervention will enhance security in the area.
I believe that putting up this in Akinladu will protect the life and property of the good people of Akinladu, this community. And we are not saying the incident that happened 2 months ago will repeat itself, but we need to protect, to foster what can make such incident to happen again.
The development highlights the role of public-private partnership in strengthening security across the country. Jamiu Omaniyi, MITV News, Akinladu, Osun State.
Bandits armed with dangerous weapons have reportedly invaded several communities in Katsina State, abducting several many persons during a coordinated night attacks. An eyewitness said on Tuesday that attacks took place on Monday night, and after heavily armed bandits invaded the affected areas, operating for hours and wreaking havoc on communities. Security sources said the terrorists first attacked on Goa Alhaji Baru and later proceeded to Gidan Danmai Gizo and Gidan Hazel communities, and all located in Nal Amal Ward in Malum Fash local government area of Katsina State. While security forces have yet to issue an official statement on the incident, the exact number of casualties and abducted persons remains unclear. The spokesman of the Katsina Police Command, Abubakar Sadiq, said that he was unaware of the latest attack but promised to find out. Malum Fashi is one of the frontline local government councils in Katsina where bandits' attacks have been on the increase despite peace agreements recently entered between the local authorities and armed groups operating in the area. The troops of 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Sector 3 Operation Wellstroke have foiled a kidnapping attempt and rescued 3 victims in a swift intelligence-driven operation conducted in Taraba State. The operation was carried out on the 5th of January 2026 following the receipt of a credible intelligence report by troops of the 6th Brigade deployed at the Jebjeb town, indicating the presence and activities of suspected kidnappers in Sengai village, Bachama ward of Karim Lamido local government area. Acting promptly on the intelligence, troops were immediately mobilized and pursued the suspect towards the border area between Taraba and Plateau State. A statement by the Brigade Public Relations Officer, Lieutenant Omar Mohammed, says, on seeing the advancing troops, the kidnappers abandoned their captives and fled into the surrounding area. Consequently, troops successfully rescued Nimrun Umar, 25 years, Bafar Ibrahim, and Habila Yusuf and others. The rescue victims are currently in military custody where they are receiving necessary care and documentation, and after which they will be reunited with their respective families. The Lagos State Task Force on Tuesday arrested 32 members of motor coup during a coordinated enforcement operation across the major roads on the island and mainland. The suspects were said to have been apprehended for causing public nuisance, illegally obstructing traffic, and endangering motorists on key highways. The operation, according to the task force, followed repeated complaints from residents over the activities of the youths accused of harassing drivers and creating safety risk across Lagos. The Director of Public Affairs of the Lagos State Task Force, Badin Abdul Rahim, said the raid was part of the agency's ongoing effort to restore order and ensure public safety. It is disclosed that areas covered included Fari Jibo Yaba Phase 1, Lagos Island, Pangrove, Dwelekba, Surulere, and adjoining roads. He explained that operation was necessitated by growing concern raised by residents through social media platforms and radio stations about the menace of street urchins causing nuisance and endangering the road users. Operatives observed the suspect unlawfully stopped articulated vehicles, including the petroleum tankers, trucks, trailers, lorries, and private cars, and thereby obstructing traffic and creating safety hazards. A former board member of the International Institute of Foreign Affairs, Bumi Obakoya, has called on Nigerians to embrace the ongoing tax reforms with optimism, describing them as a generational game changer. She acknowledged that the concerns and apprehension among the public are understandable whenever far-reaching policies are introduced, noting that such reactions are a natural part of major reform processes. Obakoya explained that the tax reforms are driven by a long-term vision focused on securing generational prosperity and strengthening Nigeria's socio-economic foundation. She emphasized that the government remains deeply committed to protecting the socio-economic integrity and future well-being of the people. The former board member and NIA also urged Nigerians to consider the broader picture by looking at ongoing infrastructural projects across the country, saying these initiatives demonstrate a deliberate efforts by the government to promote sustainable development and economic growth. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has revealed that more than 5 million electricity customers across the country remain without meters, leaving them dependent on estimated billing by distribution companies. In next third quarter 2025, industry report published on its website, about 6 million of the 12 million registered electricity customers across the 12 discos were metered as of September 30, 2025, representing just 55.37% coverage. During the third quarter, a total of 228,614 meters were installed nationwide, with Ibadan, Aba, and Abuja disco recording the highest installation, accounting for 23.38%, 20.81%, and 19.6% of the total respectively. However, 9 discos recorded declines in meter installation over the period. Port Harcourt and Jos discos posted the largest drops, with 62.35% and 61.68% decreases respectively. In contrast, Aba, Abuja, and Ibadan discos saw a notable increase. And that's it on the local news. We'll now take a short break. Where we'll come back, we'll give you some stories from the foreign scene.
The Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, reminds all businesses in Lagos State that the 2026 annual tax filing window is now open. All business entities are required to pay all taxes due and file returns on all pay-as-you-earn, payee, and withholding taxes deducted from payments made during the 2025 tax year on or before 31st January 2026 using the LIRS e-tax platform. To file, visit www.etax.lirs.net. Log in with your company taxpayer ID and password. Complete your payee returns and other required information, then submit. Failure to file annual tax returns within the prescribed timeline violates the provisions of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025 and attracts statutory penalties. This message is from the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS.
Welcome back at the foreign scene. The Central African Republic, car President Faustin Archange Touadera has won a third term after securing an outright majority in last month's presidential election. Provisional results show the 68-year-old mathematics professor was widely expected to win after the main opposition coalition boycotted a poll, citing concerns about electoral fairness. Touadera campaigned on his security record in the chronically unstable nation, and after rebels seized power in 2013, a crisis that led the government to enlist support from Russia, machineries and Rwanda soldiers. He has faced the heavy criticism after a 2023 constitution removed term limits, allowing him to keep running for office. He secured 76% of the vote, and according to the preliminary result announced late on Monday by the election agency. The U.S. President Donald Trump says Maduro's abduction was brilliant and threatens further military action against Venezuela as well as against Colombian President Gustavo Petro, who has dismissed the threat as illegitimate. He acknowledged that many Cubans were killed during the military operations in which Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro was seized. Local media in Venezuela are now reporting that 57 people were killed in the U.S.-led operation on Nicolas Maduro Caracas compound last Saturday. Maduro was abducted partly due to the belief by the U.S. officials that Maduro is the head of a drug trafficking cartel and considered that he was responsible for trafficking drugs directly into the U.S. Members of the United Nations Security Council, including the key U.S. allies, have warned that the abduction of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro and his wife by the U.S. Special Forces could be a precedent-setting event for international law. The 15-member met for an emergency meeting in New York City, where the Venezuela pair were also due to face drug trafficking charges in a U.S. federal court. Moncada condemned the U.S. operation as an illegitimate armed attack lacking any legal justification, in remarks echoed by Cuba, Colombia, and permanent UNSC members Russia and China. Russia's ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said the U.S. cannot proclaim itself as some kind of a supreme judge which alone bears the right to invade any country, to label culprits, to hand down and to enforce punishment irrespective of nations, of international law, sovereignty and non-intervention. Notable critics at the emergency session included the traditional U.S. allies, Mexico and Denmark, both of whom Trump has separately threatened with military action over the past years. And Israel has launched intense artillery and helicopter attacks on southern Gaza despite a United States brokered ceasefire, bombing a tent house and displaced a Palestinian and killing a 5-year-old girl and her uncle, according to officials. Gaza health authorities said that the killings brought the number of Palestinians killed by Israeli force since the truce came into effect in October to at least 422. The NASA Medical Complex in southern Ken Yunis said the deadly Israeli strike hit a tent in the coastal Al-Mawasi area, and that 4 others, including children, were also wounded. An Israeli military said it struck a Hamas fighter who was planning to attack Israel forces in the immediate time frame, but the military did not provide evidence for the claim, and it was not clear if its statement referred to the tent attack. With 12 Israeli military vehicles have entered the village of Saida al-Golan in the Quneitra countryside in southern Syria. This latest Israeli incursion on Tuesday, a further violation of Syrian sovereignty, comes as the Syrian delegation is holding a new round of negotiations with Israel counterpart in the French capital Paris under the coordination and mediation of the United States. And at least 3 civilians and a Syrian soldier have been killed after clashes erupted between the Syrian army and the Kurdish-led and US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces in Aleppo. Syria's defense ministry said the 3 soldiers were injured after the SDF fired drones at a military checkpoint near Deir Hafa, east of the northern province. Heavy machine gun fire and fighting have been reported in areas of Sheikh Maqsood and Ashra. The ministry says that it will respond to the aggression in an appropriate manner. In March 2025, Syria's caretaker government and the Kurdish-led SDF signed what was described as a historic agreement aimed at reintegrating the SDF and the areas it controls into the Syrian state. We'll now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you some stories in sport. Chelsea confirmed on Tuesday a later-known Liam Rosidio will be the new head coach on a 6.5-year deal, replacing Enzo Maresca. The 41-year-old Englishman told the press conference earlier in the day at League One club Strasbourg that he had verbally agreed on the move to Stamford Bridge as he signed a deal until 2032. Rosidio has just 3 years' experience as a manager with Hull City and French club Strasbourg and has never coached in the Premier League. But he had been widely touted as the front-runner to succeed Maresca since the Italian left Chelsea last week. Real Madrid have suffered a massive blow ahead of the Spanish Super Cup as Kylian Mbappe has been ruled out of the entire tournament with a knee injury. A French superstar will not travel to Saudi Arabia as the club adopts a zero-risk policy, though there is a major boost for Xabi Alonso, with Trent Alexander-Arnold returning to the squad after injury. Reports from Spain indicate that the decision to leave Mbappe in Madrid was not taken lightly, but was ultimately the only logical course of action, as the report says that the forward is suffering from a sprain in his left knee, an injury that made his participation in Wednesday's semi-final against Atletico Madrid impossible. And talking tennis, Serbian great Novak Djokovic on Tuesday pulled out of the Adelaide International, saying that he was not quite physically ready as he prepares for the Australian Open. The 38-year-old was planning to use the event from January the 12th as a springboard to the opening Grand Slam at Melbourne Park, where he is targeting an 11th title and elusive 25th major crown. The world number 4 has not played a tour match since he defeated Lorenzo Musetti in the Athens final in early November. Djokovic has had to settle for a secondary role since Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz took control of the men's tour. Venus Williams was beaten in the 3 sets by Magdalena Lennett on Tuesday at the Auckland Classic as the American grit gears up to make history At the Australian Open, aged 45, Williams showed glimpses of the talent that has brought her 7 major single titles before running out of steam as the 52nd ranked opponents that won 6-4, 4-6 and 6-2. She received a generous ovation as she left the court and will now head to Hobart for another warm-up event before the first Grand Slam of the year. On the way from tennis, Kevin Durant nailed a three-pointer with 1.1 seconds remaining as the Houston Rockets rallied for a 100-97 win over the visiting Phoenix Suns to secure the 4-game season series. Durant was 1 for 11 from behind the arc before sinking the game winner and capping his 26-point performance. Jabari Smith Jr., who chipped in 17 points and 7 rebounds and was instrumental in helping Houston erase a 13-point second-half deficit, assisted on the Durant three-pointer. And Cade Cunningham had 29 points and 13 assists as the Detroit Pistons beat the New York Knicks 121-90. It was the first meeting between the teams since May the 1st, when the Knicks eliminated and Pistons with 116-113 Game 6 of their first-round playoff series. Detroit winning Games 2 ended their NBA recorded 15-game postseason losing streak. Javonte Green scored 17 points and Jaden Ivey added 16 points for Detroit, which finished with a 52-34 edge in points in the paint and a 44-30 rebounding advantage. Jalen Brunson had 25 points for the Knicks, who lost their 4th straight game. Miles McBride scored 17 and Michael Bridges with 10 was the only other New York player to reach double digits. And that's where we wrap up tonight's news. I am Victor Daniels. Good night.